Hey guys, this is test 66 game 4 from the June 2012 LSAT. This is the game with the pianists and the solos. It is an ordering game. We know this because the 5 solos occur immediately one after another, so there must be an order in which they are performed. Now we've got two people, W and Z, who are each doing, a modern or a traditional piece. So we've got to place the solos in order from 1 to 5 and then assign them to both a person, Wayne or Zara, and then either modern or traditional. Now I've laid out two different diagrams here and some rules. I'm going to explain all of those. They tell us the third solo is traditional, so I've placed that. They tell us that exactly 2 are consecutive, so I've done TD with a box around it. Now you just got to remember those are the only 2 that occur consecutively. There's no real simple way to write that down, so I just put a box around it. You could do a little 1x subscript if you like next to that box. Now for the fourth rule, they tell us that we either have T with W or M with Z. 2 different possibilities there. This is how I create my 2 different possibilities for the game. Now they tell us that 2 and 5 are never the same. Of course, that's regarding person, not modern or traditional. You can try to remember that. You can make a little marking if you like. I just don't bother. And then finally, they tell us that we don't have T until we've had M with W. So I put an MW box prior to T. And this is essentially our initial setup for the game. I believe we can go much further, though, in terms of making inferences. For example, these are the only T's who are consecutive in the game. So for that reason, we can infer that on the top diagram, M is 5 and M is on 2 as well regarding the top level. Now, of course, regarding the first slot, it actually ends up having to be M as well because we have M always going before T initially. There will always be an M with W prior to T, therefore M has to be on 1. Now, we know that 2 and 5 cannot be the same person, so for that reason, we can say that one of W or Z will be on 2, and the other one of those people will be on 5. So W/Z and then Z/W. Regarding the bottom diagram, we know that we have to have T occurring consecutively at least once. Obviously, that's not happening on 5. It would happen on 1, 2, or 2, 3. But you see, we've already got T on 3. Therefore, T will also have to be on 2, and we're going to have M on 1. Now, the only solo with regard to modern versus traditional, the only piece that's going to be either M or T that is ambiguous is on the bottom diagram, slot 5. This could be M or T. We really don't know which way it's going to go. That has not been determined. Now, we know that we've got to have an M with W prior to T. We have only one M occurring before T on 2. Therefore, this one will have to be by W. And the second one could be WZ, again, interchangeable 2 and 5 regarding people just like the top diagram. So W/Z and Z/W. Now 3 is undetermined regarding person. On the top diagram, 1 and 3 are undetermined regarding person as well. This is a really solid initial diagram and is our initial setup for the game. So question number 19, general could be true question regarding traditional pieces. Now we can actually predict this, of course. There are only 3 ways it can go. It can either be 3, 4, or it could be 2, 3 only, or it could be 2, 3, 5. So you just want to scan through the choices looking for one of those, or of course you could more easily perhaps just run through the choices themselves. Obviously A is out because it has 1 being traditional. B, 2, 3, 4. We can have 3, 4, or 2, 3, but not all of 2, 3, 4 in either of our 2 possibilities, so B is gone. Next, C, 3 and 4 alone. We have that right here, so we are good, and C is our answer to number 19. I'll look at D and E though. D, 3 and 5. That could happen in the bottom one, but we also would need to have 2, so D is gone. And then E, 4 and 5. We could have 4 but not 5 on the top, and then 5 but not 4 on the bottom, again leaving out the other guys, and we need to have T on 3 at all times at least, so E is gone, leaving C is our answer to number 19. Next, number 20, the minimum number of solos where Wayne could do a traditional piece. Now on the top diagram, he could get away with doing only 1 traditional on 4. However, So for that reason, you could right away eliminate choices 2, 3, and 4, C, D, and E. Those are automatically gone. However, on the bottom diagram, he could get away with having even fewer. Maybe 2 would be done by Z, and maybe on solo 5, we could have Wayne doing a modern. So he still hasn't done a traditional, and then we could have Z doing traditional on 3. So Wayne would have never done a traditional at all. So we could actually have him doing 0. So B is gone, and A is our answer to number 20. Next, number 21. If the person who does 1 also does 2, what must be true? Now, this means that on the top diagram, we've got to have Wayne doing both 1 and 2 so that we can have Wayne doing a modern prior to the first traditional. So Wayne's doing 1 and 2 on the top diagram. Then on the bottom diagram, we need Wayne on 1 again to be before the first traditional. So Wayne's doing 1 and 2 again. Now we know that the person who does 2 never does 5. So for that reason, since Wayne's on 2 in both of these diagrams, we need Z on both of the 5s in those diagrams. Now we still have a bit undetermined, of course. We don't really know what's happening on 3 here. Let's just basically run through the choices and ask ourselves what must be true. Do we need to have Z on 1? No, in fact, that's not even possible. We have W on 1 in both of these diagrams, so A is gone. W on 3, maybe. We don't really know, so B's gone. Then Z on 5, yes, we do have Z in both of these, and that's all our valid possibilities. So for that reason, C is our answer to 21. I'll look at D and E though. D, 2 being traditional, that happens on the bottom, but not on the top, so D is gone. And then 4 being modern, we have that on the bottom, but not on the top, so E is gone, leaving C is our answer to 21. Next, number 22, if we have T on 5. So that could only really happen in this bottom diagram here, right? We have M on 5 in the top, so the top diagrams are relevant, the bottom one's what we're using, and we're going to put T on 5 here. Remember, it's okay to have the M and T level being the same, it's just not okay to have the WZ level being the same. So we still don't know whether this is Z or W on 5 right here. That's still ambiguous, but we've still limited things a great deal by knowing that we're only dealing with the bottom diagram. So they're asking us, for how many do we know the bottom level? For how many slots do we know, solos, do we know whether it's W or Z? Well, we've got W for certain on 1 and Z for certain on 4, but we don't know which way 2 and 5 are breaking down, and of course 3 is empty as well. So we really only know 2. So for that reason, choice B is our answer to 22. We got W1, Z4. Next, number 23, if we've got W doing T on 5, so first of all, we know the top diagrams are relevant because it has M on 5. We're looking at T. So we got T on 5 done by W. Again, 2 and 5 could have the same type of piece, M or T. They just can't have the same person. So because they can't have the same person, W's 5, meaning that Z is 2. And we've determined things a great deal. So we don't know exactly what's happening on 3. So that's the only real could we have. Everything else is a solid must. But let's just run through the choices anyway, or you could skip to 3 if you feel more confident. And you see choice C says Z on 3. That is a could. So of course it's ambiguous, so that's actually our answer. I'll go through the others though. Could we have Z on 1? No, W's on 1, gone. Could we have W on 2? No, Z is specifically on 2, gone. D, 2 being M, no, 2 is T, that is gone. And then 4 being T, no, 4 is M, and that's done, leaving C as our answer by process of elimination if you did not get it before.